everybody. Welcome back. Will McBride here on episode 4 of Maxing Your Music Creation Experience Without Touring. Again, all these episodes are geared toward targeting local, regional musicians that do original music, not cover bands or tribute bands. And that person probably has a great desire to create original music. That person could be over 40 years old and well past their rock star years, would definitely be proficient and practiced on their instruments, and have either a tight band or a group of musicians they've worked with regularly that work together to complete the vision. This person could possibly have a family or a career or both, and certainly not want to tour or they're tired of playing in bars till 2 a.m., but they want to play big rooms with sizable, eager audiences, just like the bands they admire. Well, that's what this series is about. It's targeting that for those people. Just to review, episode 1 was all about being ready with a compelling product. Episode 2 was about thinking big. And episode 3 was about the songs. Each of those were interesting in their own right. This one is about royalties. And it's a long one, so let's jump right into it. First, a word about copyrights. Now, copyright protection subsists in original works of authorship fixed in any tangible medium of expression. That's true for not just music, but for other things. We're obviously going to look at just the music part. Works of authorship that are musical are musical works that include accompanying lyrics, sound recordings, and also dramatic works such as stage plays. Well, we're not going to talk about the dramatic works, stage plays, because I don't know anything about that. A musical work is a song's underlying composition. It's built on the melody, the rhythm, the harmony, along with the accompanying lyrics, and all that together gives you the copyright, which is the C with the circle around it. That's the songwriters. Now, the sound recording is a series of musical, spoken, or other sounds fixed in a recording medium, such as a digital file or a CD. They call it a phonorecord, and that goes way back. But you can generally see a circle with a P inside of it, and that is the copyright for the recording artist. That's for a performance of a cover song, for example. I don't know, think of one. You Really Got Me by Van Halen probably has a P with a circle on it because their performance is unique and they copyrighted that. But the songwriter is the folks from the Kinks. The Kinks originally wrote that. Okay, now that you understand about the copyrights, let's talk about the royalties. Now, performing artists, songwriters of original music, those people are entitled to royalties whenever that song's played in public. Record labels, publishers, digital distributors, sync license agencies are also entitled to royalties for that same performance. And so you have to split that. Independent artists are concerned with some of this, but not all of it. If you're completely independent of a publisher, then you don't worry about that stuff. Now, I will say right here that music royalties and copyrights are complex, and this is just scratching the surface. I'm not an expert. I only know what I've experienced. Master rights go to whoever owns the master of the recording. And publishing rights typically belong to the songwriter. Distributors, publishers collect these royalties for you, so you split it with them. You're basically paying them for a service. Now, there are 4 different types of royalties. One is printed music. Music that's transcribed into sheet music. I don't have any experience with this, so I'm not going to talk about that. There's mechanical royalties, and that's the physical or digital reproductions of copyrighted works. For example, when you record cover material, you have to show proof to the duplicator that you paid the mechanical royalties. And it's about 10 cents for every physical copy, somewhere in there. Now, digital streaming also has royalty payment requirements. I'm not real sure how that's handled. The MLC, tell you about them. They are the MLC, or Mechanical License Composium, I think that's what that stands for. They administer blanket licenses for streaming download services in the US and collect royalties from them, and they pay the songwriters and the publishers. I've personally had good experience with that. I've had them pay a significant royalty for one of my songs through CD Baby, and it was licensed in this way. Public performance, copyrighted works played, performed, or streamed in public. That's the third type of royalty. That is split between the songwriter, publisher, and the distributor. CD Baby, for me, they collect the publisher share for me, and CD Baby Pro, which is a product that at the time of this recording they offered, they collect worldwide. I'm not sure if they offer that product anymore. I don't know. But CD Baby Pro is not the same as a PRO. Now, I will talk about that. A PRO is important in the public performance royalty collection. It's called the Performing Rights Organization. It's a nonprofit, and they collect and distribute songwriter royalties for works played, performed, and streamed in public. You may have heard of ASCAP, BMI, CSAC. Those are popular ones in the United States. I think there are a couple of more small ones in the United States, and there's also worldwide, there's some. So that brings us to tip 4. Tip 4 is to sign up with a PRO. It's free, they're a nonprofit, and they protect you. A PRO, basically all venues that broadcast live and recorded copyright music, they pay a fee to the PRO. This includes TV stations, radio stations, colleges, restaurants, bars, concert venues, etc. The fee is based upon the size of the venue and the frequency of the music offering. In other words, if they do it 7 days a week, they pay more than if they only do it 1 day a week. And if they're a giant concert venue, they pay more than a small restaurant. Conspicuously absent from that list of venues are non-interactive digital sources. In other words, like streaming radios and webcasters. There is a PRO that takes care of that for the distributing the royalties, and that's an entity called Sound Exchange. And tip 4A, there's 2 in this section, sign up with Sound Exchange because it's also free. And they collect and distribute when content is broadcast on the non-interactive digital source, like webcasters and streaming radio. Now, Sound Exchange and the PROs pay quarterly. My experiences with Sound Exchange and ASCAP. Sound Exchange pays through the distributors. I get that through my CD Baby account. ASCAP pays directly. Both pay quarterly, but they pay differently. Some of the PROs, I know ASCAP and BMI offer this. I imagine the other ones do. They provide a vehicle to pay you for your own performances of your own material. And the ASCAP product is called On Stage. And basically you submit the date and the venue and the set list size and the number of songs and the song titles, and they pay you for that. That's 3 of the royalty types. There's a 4th one. The 4th one is called a sync license. And the sync license is when copyrighted work is synchronized with visual media, film, TV, commercial, video games, ads, etc. It does not give the right to use an existing recording that already has an AV media, like YouTube. You have to get a master use license for that. One thing I can recommend, though, is that when you do create a song in the studio and record it, and you get the full mix and everything, and you're ready to go to mastering, pause and do another mix without vocals. The reason you do that is because if you ever get a sync licensing opportunity, most of the time they don't want vocals, they just want the instrumental. And so then you have it. And it's cheap to do it right then. It's expensive to do it any other time to get an instrumental version of your song. It's already there, it's already queued up. All you gotta do is turn off the vocals and run the mix again. It takes 5 minutes. I'm going to show some links to some of the places where I got this information. I went and did the research on these websites right here. And hopefully, if you want to go into this deeper, you can find what you're looking for there. So in summary, I would say that the royalties are a complex subject. Be sure to get your songs copyrighted. Join a PRO. Of course, if you are in distribution, then they are going to pay you royalties. They'll take their share, but they'll pay royalties. So you don't have to keep up with it. Here's my background. I'm based in a mid-sized music town, Raleigh, North Carolina. And I've done many years with my band of playing covers and sneaking in original music. The band has evolved into doing local theaters and opening act shows. We have generated some royalties. This is the part I promised you I would talk about. That's this episode. And I've done all this after the age of 40. Again, I'll say there is no formula to this, but there's a lot of stuff you can know that helps you when opportunities present themselves. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it the thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel where there's lots of good content, not only this series, but also some gear reviews, lots of live performance music videos and official music videos from my band, the Will McBride Group. And you can find them at this website, www.willmcbridegroup.com. You can find out all about us. And that concludes this one. Thank you for checking it out. And we will see you at episode 5. Until then, be well.